and make those embers glow. I'm on my way, and I don't skip a beat. I can't help it, I've got happy feet. I'm lighter than air, and I'm feeling so good. I do what I want, and it's understood. There's no stopping me when I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. I'ma do me. You know what I mean. I'm on fire. I'm feeling glad there's a spark in my soul. I light it up, burning brighter than gold. Break it down now. I'm getting happy, feel my heart go zing. I'm clapping my hands and I'm pulling these strings. No stopping me when I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. I'ma do me. I'ma do me. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm on fire. Yes, I am. I'ma do me. I'ma do me. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm on fire. Yes, I am. I'm on fire, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm on fire, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm on fire. I'ma do me. I got happy feet. You know what I mean. I got happy feet. I'm on fire. I feel good. I feel good right now. I'm on fire, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm on fire, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm on fire. I'ma do me.
Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer, fun for all that children call their favorite time of year. Snowflakes in the air, carols everywhere, olden times and ancient rhymes of love and dreams to share. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere, Yuletide by the fireside, and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, families drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere. when you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, and the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones.
Am I live? Can you guys hear me? Man, I'm so rusty. I'm so rusty. Haven't done this for a long time. Hey, Paul, you there, right? Can you give me a confirmation if you can hear my voice? Okay, cool. Okay, all right. Got a little bit of lag, so when I look at the screen and listen, I cannot hear too well. All right, we're live. Late night coffee show. Episode 30, believe it or not. I was looking back. I haven't done a live show for like a late night coffee show for a while. How does this work? Okay, so I had a bit of a glitch. Something happened with my Ecamm Live software. The way it works is I gotta use a multiple computer. I got a main studio computer, and I got a older laptop that I need to plug in for my presentation. And when I plugged in everything, I had to do a software update and another update, and my audio doesn't work. So got a glitch, and then when I try to go live, the link that I created a few days ago, when I announced it, it didn't link properly. So now, bottom line is, the live link that I was supposed to go on is not working. So Paul, if you can do me a favor, if you can copy and paste this live link right now that we're on to the other post that I was doing a promotion, which all the members are placing follow, follow for all that. I got a ton of those. If you can just go and paste there so that it redirects them onto this post, that would be great. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about, right, Paul? All right, thanks a lot. Okay, all right. So, hey, Lillian, all the way from Australia. That's great. Who do we have here? We got Michael. We got Ammon. Hey, Ammon, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you for a long time, too. It'll be nice to see. Loud and clear. So I'm just using the regular MacBook internal mic, so I hope that is good enough. That's awesome. Okay, so let's begin. Let me see right here. Today's topic is AMELIA. Okay, topic is AMELIA. Okay, we're gonna go into that one soon, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory. Is that I've been making this a different design of FP3 because not all cases turn into FP1, even though I do a lot of FP1. And some of you guys who don't know what FP1 and FP2, FP3 is, FP1 is just replacing the teeth. FP2 is, because of the gum recession or bone resorption, you end up making the teeth that looks a little bit longer. And FP3 is, of course, when you lose a lot of tissue, you need to replace the tooth and the tissue, so you end up having that little bit of a pink there, right? So even though I don't do bone reduction, typically, not all cases can become FP1, right? Okay, because when the tissue shrinks during the healing, or a patient come with a lot of tissue accession or bone resorption, you end up with FP3. So I posted one of my FP3 design with the pink, and I had a lot of questions that private messaged me. A lot of the doctors say, what is AMELIA design? I call it AMELIA design, and I want to give a backstory because that particular design I've been using for the past few years. I learned a lot by treating this patient named AMELIA. Okay, so in our in-house lab, when we do a certain case, and typically these cases that we struggle with the most, and we struggle so much, and eventually we triumphant, and we learn a lot from whether it's a surgical protocol, it changes, or prosthetic protocol, when it affects an overall work concept within our clinical practice. We give a name of that design or that concept or technique to the patient who help us learn that through agonizing process, right? So we have like a sharp design, we have AMELIA design, we have a Hatar design, we have a few, right? So AMELIA design is our a concept that we've been developed ever since we treated this patient over the last couple of years, and her name is AMELIA, right? And so we're gonna talk about that and why I'm an advocate of this AMELIA design, and it has been working really, really well for us. Okay, so let's unpack this. Okay, all right. Oh, Jamie, how you doing? Good. I think Dr. Yan, she works with me, and also Paul Lee, he works with me too, so probably have some good idea of this. So what is today's case going to be useful for is some of you who are doing FP3 routinely, or some of you clinicians who have done FP3 in the past with some bone reduction or whatever not, and there comes a time where you need to upgrade, right? Because typically patient who had a hybrid bar design, after about 5, 6, 7 years, as you know, many of you know, then teeth wears down, they chip and break, and you get an opportunity to upgrade the bridge for the patient. So some of those cases, you can also apply this concept. And those of you who are doing new FP3 design, you can probably apply this concept as well. So let's talk about AMELIA, okay? AMELIA came to me about a couple of years ago with her husband, who both needed, work to be done. And just by looking at right here, she has a bit of a class 3 tendency. Overall, tissue doesn't look too bad, oral hygiene doesn't look too bad. But she's been neglecting teeth, and her chief concern was that her bridge was getting loose on the top. So when we take the X-ray, this is how it looks, right? So these are typical cases that I get every day, and what you can see is a long bridge, right? Long bridge, recurrent decay, and if you look at it, follow this line right over here, is that a lot of perio defect, recurrent decay, long span bridge. And these are the cases that you really don't have much option. Maybe you could save a tooth or two, but the reality is that, it's hard to build a new kitchen around the old living room, right? So, we decided to save the bottom as much as we can with the referral doctors. As you can see, some perio defect here. So, her primary dentist trying to save the bottom. We're trying to do a full arch on the top, and whenever you get into a situation where you only get to do a single arch and the opposing is a little bit compromised, you gotta let the patient know that doesn't matter what we do, our final design is going to be based on the occlusion against the opposing dentition, right? Okay, So that's something that we have to be mindful. Hey Sang, how you doing? Okay. So how is this case, right? It's hard to tell just from a panoramic X-ray. So let's break it down, okay? And when you look at the CT scan, I don't know if you will be able to see this, the video. So obviously on the quad 1, there's a bit of a retention cyst there. Left side is not too bad. A little bit of deficiency in sinus, but the key challenge was over here, as you can see, really knife edged at the front there, right? Okay, less than 3 millimeters or so. So when we look at that, some of the anterior ridge was really thin from canine to canine, and obvious reason was patient's been missing teeth for so long, ended up losing a lot of thickness of the bone. Okay, so case like this, even for me, it's really hard to do immediate teeth next day. So what I ended up doing is, okay, I was looking at, okay, what are the options can I have for a case like this, right? Okay, and when I posted this case a few months ago, and I got a consensus, and many of you guys said that this case is extreme, therefore need a zygoma or pterygoid of some sort. And you know what? I don't blame some of those doctors who recommended that, right? Okay, because it's really extreme case, and if you're to zygoma, do some Ep30, get a few implants of the zygoma, that you can definitely do a immediate loading, and I think this is one of those cases that you could very well do that, right? And I had one of old friend, he sent me this a screenshot, and he's saying that it was a similar case, and the doctor ended up doing a zygoma and angled implants. Ended up doing that, right? So I said, okay, you know what? Do I really need to go to the FP3 with the bone reduction concept? And as you guys know, I'm quite biased these days, right? Okay. I used to do a ton of bone reduction, used to do a ton of angled implant, but nowadays I'm trying to go opposite to what I used to preach, right? So what I did was on the surgery day, I took all the teeth out, and instead of doing the pterygoid and zygoma, and to be honest, I only done zygoma about maybe half a dozen patients, maybe 10 zygoma implant I placed in my career. So even if I was to try that now, I'll be very good at it. Okay, so I decided to do a GBR. Okay, bilateral sinus lifting and sausage grafting, and this is I apologize for poor photos. Okay, this is iPhone. During the full arch surgery, I don't really have time to unglove and take a lot, so I use my iPhone as a main camera. And this is a typical urban style bone tech, a GBR. And this is a typical sinus lifting. Of course, because we're staging this, I cannot do Professor Sohn's graftless solution, because graftless only works when you have something tenting. I'm not tenting anything, so I'm using a sticky ball. And the key for me, the most difficult is not the surgery, right? GBR can work really well. And one of the reasons why a lot of the surgeons shy away from this big bone graft of entire arch is because of the denture. Because it's if you don't control the fitting of the denture properly, it can really put pressure and start moving the graft or area, and you end up getting a graft resorption, right? So after I've done the GBR, got the primary closure, I like to use this soft reliner, this Japanese soft reliner. I think it's a Tokuyama. Okay, I think that's what it is, right? Okay, Paul, is it called Tokuyama? Right, Tokuyama, and it's a silicone soft reliner. Why I like the soft reliner more than the typical like Co-Soft or other soft reliner is that all the other soft reliners that I've used, they harden over time, okay? But this soft reliner, this Japanese soft reliner, it stays soft on the day of reline and continue to stay soft until the end, okay? Only downside is that these, after about a couple months, they end up kind of like getting dirty and also they're not very resilient, so they could tear. So with this soft reline material, I really have to babysit my patient and change a soft reline, re-reline the base, adding a new, ripping out and adding a new material every month or every 2 months or sometimes every month. So it's really a lot of hand holding, right? Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Tokuyama. Thank you. Yeah. So that's that. So it works really, really good. So if you haven't tried it, do try this soft reline material. They're a little more expensive, but they're easy to use. Also, when you do a soft reline, make sure that the borders are clear, right? I deliberately removed some of the inside to create space for the soft reline material. Okay, so that's what I do. And this is a primary closure. Okay, and this is a 2x post-op, healing very, very, very good. Okay, but let me be honest with you, not all full arch GBR cases work out this well, right? So she had a good biology. She was in her early 60s, that's still relatively young, and she healed absolutely well, right? And one thing I started to realize is that my skill and my experience is only 50% of the battle. Other 50% is really biology of the subject. And doesn't matter how good I do the surgery, if the patient decide not to heal, okay, then there's no way. But luckily, this patient decided to heal really well for me. I'm happy about that. And 4 months later, this is the CBCT, and these are the bone techs, as you can see, bone techs I've used, and also these couple of golf balls. That is my bone graft, which is the sticky bone. Okay, and people ask me what kind of bone graft I use for my bone graft. They ask me if I use a xeno bone, a cow bone, or if I use any autogenous bone. Nowadays, I don't use any autogenous bone. I just use allograft material, typically cancellous bone, because I like my bone to resorb within the next 4 to 5 months. I don't like any bone that sticks around too long. Okay, I prefer the quicker turnover bone. So in order to get this amount of bone to regenerate, I have to put a lot more than this, right? So because they do shrink. When you're using sticky bone of an allograft type of material, you can expect that it's going to shrink about 30%. Okay. So here, if you look at the cross-section video, that's going to go across from quad 1 to quad 2. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy. Okay. That's a good volume. Okay, definitely got some bone there. Okay. All right. So if I look at it, so some of the cross section, the key areas. Okay. Okay, it's looking good, because if you can make out where the native bone was and where the new bone is, where the native bone was right here, and this bulge right here is new bone, native bone here, and right here is new bone, right? Okay, so that's pretty good, pretty happy. Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, let me see. Is it echoing too much? Let me just turn this off then. Okay. Yeah, I got my audio system a little bit messed up, could be, right? Okay. Yeah. Let me know how the technical is. Okay. Yeah, it's just turned on the background music. It's okay. Gotcha. Is it better now? How is it, Raj? Let me see. Okay, good. All right, awesome. Okay, so after about 4 or 5 months of after bone grafting, I've decided to do guided surgery. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. So I like to use R2. People ask me, can you use other guided surgical systems? Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's just that I'm very used to R2. I've used many other guided system. I like R2, not the easiest to use, but I find it very accurate. very precise. And how I use it is not a fully guide. I think when you have this much bone, though, to be honest, looking back, I think I could have done fully guided, like Giancarlo Romero. He does fully guided for a lot of his cases. But I wanted to do the hybrid guide. That means I'm going to flap it after I get my initial osteotomy and to find out if my osteotomy is correct. Because not all surgical full arches, the osteotomy is correct. For the full arch to be really exactly accurate, the stars have to align. Okay, so I still like to do hybrid guide, and as you can see, I raise the flap, and you can see all these holes. And how deep do I go with a guide, depending on the vertical height bone available. I think I went like 10 to 11.5 millimeter depth with the first set of drills. Okay, and if you look carefully right here, all this is new bone, and this is where my osteotomy is. So this is a tip I'm going to give you guys, right? Just because you have a big fat bone, it doesn't mean that I can put the widest implant in the middle of it. Okay, even though I have more new bone than my native bone, I like to do my osteotomy in the native bone. Okay, that's the true bone. And when I do this osteotomy like that and place my implants, what you'll see is my implants are still quite palatally placed. Okay, I still think that's the best bone, because these new bone here that's formed, even though it looks really, really good, I don't know how long they're going to stay for how much, because I still believe that after about 8, 10, 9 years, okay, some of the bone might still resorb a little bit, right? Okay, so for me, okay, I prefer to put the implant palatally. So a lot of the concept that some of you guys, I've taught is that always look for the palatal triangle, right? Okay, even when you don't have bone, you look for that apical triangle, okay? And also even when you have a lot of bone after GBR, still look for the apical triangle. And when you aim for that implant, using a long length implant to aim for that stability, that's going to pay dividends over the years. Okay. Hey, Albert, aren't you supposed to be sleeping now? How you doing, brother? Okay. So that's that. So I placed 6 implants. Okay. Typically a first molar, first premolar, lateral, first premolar, and molar, right? And then instead of burying it, because the stability was pretty good, sometimes I put healing abutments. And I think in this case, I use healing abutment 4 millimeter or 5 millimeter. And I want to make sure that my healing abutment, when I approximate the tissue around it, it's going to be at that level, okay, at least. That tells me that the countersinking is about at least 4 millimeter, the rule of 4, right? Some call it a zero bone loss concept. We've been calling it a rule of 4 for the long time, because when you have a tissue thickness of 4 millimeter, that's above the platform, it tends to help to maintain the marginal bone level long term. So that's that. Okay, and of course those are Megagen implants. Okay, yeah. Megagen implant, they have these Lego blocks. Okay, I've been saving quite a bit of these, hoping that I can make something for my 6-year-old daughter. One of these days I will. Okay, I know Samuel, he made a dinosaur with these Lego capsules. So this is how the implant look. I like to put long implants if I can. I was doing a data collection of all the full arches that I've done the implant over the last 5 years, FP1s especially. The most used implant length is 13 millimeter. I don't know why, but that seems to be the most common implant choice when I have available bone, and I think that's a very good number. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, and then this right over here, another advantage of placing implant palatally is that it gives you better chance of retaining some of the carnized gingiva. Okay, I always hold on a second right here. I always tell my patient, okay, at the time of consultation, I tell my patient that, and I pre-treatment plan for possibility of FGG in all the posterior quadrant. If it's in this case both a quad 1 and quad 2 posterior, if I'm doing a double large, 4 units of FGG or 4 quadrant, and when I only charge 1 unit each, but I end up doing the premolar and the molar altogether because it only takes me really 5-10 minutes, right? Okay, so FG is a very easy, quick procedure to do. But what I find is that when I place my implants a little more palatally, preferentially, there's a higher chance that patient may not even end up needing FGG. I think this patient, I only did FGG on the left side, okay, I think, or maybe I done the both sides, cannot really remember. But tissue's not looking too bad, right? Looks very, very healthy. And what we do is once the implants heal up, so by this time I was into about 8 to 10 months into the game, right? Okay. And some of you guys are asking, do I always remove the bone tags, right? Okay, not always, because sometimes I just leave it, but some of the bone tag that's really, really deep, I don't chase after it, right? So I used to in my younger years because bone tags were very expensive, and so I would go and retrieve them, and some of the good ones I would recycle it. Okay, I don't do that anymore, right? So I leave them in. Okay, and what we did was we did a pickup and made a lab processed teeth next day. Well, not teeth next day, true teeth next day, but we took the impression and then we gave it to the lab, and they made a fixture level FP3 wraparound bridge. This is 3D milled. Nowadays we do the 3D printing using a printing material, which is pretty strong too. I think a printing technology came a really, really long way. But this is a milling, and milling. If you guys are going to milling and PMMA, there's a lot of material out there too. Our favorite was the Telio from Ivoclar. Quite strong, quite resilient, good modulus of elasticity of Young's. So we did that, and so this is where we started to play around with a bit more. Okay, we decided that let's make it as thin as possible, and let's make it an embrasure space so that they can clean with their regular brush, because reality is water pick don't really work that well. Okay, when you have a heavy biofilm building up underneath it, those FP3 acrylic bridges, what I notice is that there's always something underneath it, right? So I really wanted, my goal was that to have a design that patient can easily remove 90% of the debris or plaque buildup using their mechanical brush or electrical toothbrush. Okay, and so that's what we did. Okay, so this is a design by my team and myself. Okay, and this is the bridge. Okay, let me tell you something. I tell ya, this case, I ended up taking the bridge out, this temporary bridge out, at least a dozen times to adjust it until the patient was comfortable. I don't know what it was. After she had put up with the denture for 8 to 10 months, when I gave her this thin bridge, which I thought it was thin enough, I thought she'll be very, very happy. But she was complaining about the speech, tongue space. She had a really, really hard time, especially she couldn't say certain words. She's a very devoted Christian. She prays every Sunday in front of the congregation, and she said she couldn't speak "Our Father in heaven," "Our Father." Okay, so that was the word that she couldn't speak, right? So I had to adjust the bridge quite a lot, and it ended up being so thin, as you can see, right? So thin. I was worried that it might break. It didn't break. Okay, it didn't break because she still had a long height. Okay, when you have enough height, I think you can get away with the thinness of it. And so we ended up adjusting until she can say "Our Father in heaven." Okay, our Father in heaven. So Aaron's there. Aaron, hey, how you doing, Aaron? Aaron is the one that really helped me to fine tune this design, and that's what it ended up being. So this is this is a temporary, right? It looks nice, right? So just the right amount, no heavy pressure to the tissue. It had to be hygienic, so we kept her in this provisional for good 2 to 3 months, right? Brought her in every 2 weeks just to make sure she can say the certain words, eat properly, make sure that her tissues are healthy. As you can see, the bottom teeth are starting to look really good after rounds of hygiene. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so once we got the bridge, okay, to the liking and happy, the patient can talk properly, eat properly, and clean properly. Those 3 things, right? And also look properly too, right? But hygiene, being hygienic, speech, function, of course, longevity. Okay, the design. So what we do is we scan that. Okay, what Aaron did was we scan, and then we basically try to duplicate or make even more thinner for the final final bridge wraparound. Okay, and we call that an AMELIA design. Okay, we're honoring the patient that gave us really hell of a time with this case here, but we learned a lot too, right? We learned a heck of a lot, and we call this an AMELIA design. Okay, so whenever nowadays, when we have a similar case, I just tell Aaron, hey, Aaron, AMELIA design. Okay, and he gets it, right? Okay, so as you can see, very, very thin. And I think some of you were saying that, okay, some of you are saying that, is AMELIA design, is it prone to fracture? Okay, because they said that they try to get the other lab do this type of design. A lot of the commercial lab, okay, turn it down because they're worried that it might break. We haven't had a breakage with the zirconia. We've had a breakage. If it does break, it's going to be when you're trying it. Okay, when you're trying it, if not fitting passively, they bite down, the stress fracture, it will break, or a defect from the beginning. When you're working, something cracks or something like that. But if design is done properly and the impression is accurate and it's absolutely passive fit, right? I don't think this is a problem. Because think about it, right? If this was an FP1 and we do a segmented, and we do a segmented FP1 all the time, right? And they rarely ever fracture, okay? They don't. So same token, when you join them together, and how we make our FP3 is fixture level, okay? Fixture level. As you can see, look at the tissue response. It looks really, really good. And we do a custom abutment. Okay, Aaron designs custom abutment. As you can see, we don't go too subgingival. If it's a non-aesthetic zone, we like to keep it equal gingival. Okay, only thing that we do differently that Aaron does, he anodizes it so that it doesn't look dark, right? But we have a custom milled abutment here. We have a machine that mills it. It's amazing about technology, right? I remember many years ago, the custom milling abutment used to cost like $200,000. Now you can get it for $60,000 or even cheaper. Small little a machine that you don't even need water plumbing. You can buy a titanium custom abutment milling machine at a comfort of your office. Okay, how great is that? And it only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to mill one abutment, and we can mill 5 abutment at a time. So what a game changer, right? So just a custom abutment, and we cement it. Okay. A lot of you ask me, how do you retrieve this, right? If you're cementing on abutment, how do you retrieve this? Very difficult. Okay. The answer is with very difficulty. So what I do is I do not use permanent cement. Okay. I use what we call medium strength, okay, resin cement. And what I use is called Premier, okay. Premier cement is not really a good cement when you're doing a single tooth, okay, single tooth. But when you're doing a multiple unit like this cementing, you don't need a lot of strength from the resin for retention. Okay, retention you get it from the abutment design. So that's what we use. There was a cement used called the Improv. They stopped making it. This is a premier cement. I think it's from Kerr. Okay, if I'm correct. So that's what we use, right? And we haven't had much of a problem, difficulty. Okay, so that's that. The key for the fixture level AMELIA design. Okay, and let me look at right over here. Okay. Open. That's great. Bite down again. Perfect. FP3. Parts of brush friendly. Open again. Fantastic. Nice and thin. Excellent. Close down for me. Wonderful. Excellent. Okay. So the fit is good, tissue is good. So this is a bridge where you don't have to remove, right? Some people were messaging me, say, oh, you're contradicting yourself. Dr. Kwan, you said that you always remove the conventional FP3 design bridge, and now you're saying that you don't have to remove it. The conventional bridge, the design that I used to have a thicker base, ovate pontic, pushing on the tissue, especially MUA level bridges, I used to remove them all the time, every 6 months. And I would clean it, remove the bridge, remove the tartars, because I find that almost impossible to remove all the debris and everything underneath it without taking it out, okay? So I've done that. But with this design, you don't have to, because patient can clean around all the abutments with the spaces, with the design, that you don't really need to remove it. Okay, and of course, the way I cemented it's not going to be easy to remove anyways, right? So when you make an AMELIA design, one of the benefit is that you don't have to remove it to do on hygiene. Okay, as you can see on the X-ray, if you look at it right here, even though it's an FP3 design, all the emergence profile of the abutment, the embrasure space, everything follows the rule of FP1, just a crown and a bridge type of emergence profile, and that's what makes this design so hygienic. And if we were to break it down, okay, what are the key features of AMELIA design? Is that it has to be thin, but thin with the purpose, right? Okay, purpose meaning that, as you can see right over here, there's a gingival groove. Okay, so you don't just make a holes at the top and expect that patient's just going to do proximal brush, keep it clean. No, it becomes a tunnel, food gets trapped there, it's just as bad. So you have to design in such a way that when they're chewing, going through a chewing cycle, the food doesn't get stuck, they tend to come down through the groove like a slide, okay? Like how my daughter goes to playground and then she slides down. So each of these dentition, there's going to be slides, and better yet, if the abutment and the implants are in the right position, it's easier for the lab to design that groove interproximally, okay, so to speak. So that's that's the second feature. One, overall thinness of the bridge. Two is a gingival groove, okay. Third is embrasure space, okay, embrasure space, right? Embrasure space so that it can be reached with the brush and in proximal brush, okay, and not necessarily flossing. No one's going to put the floss in there, and also the water pick, okay. And the embrasure is what I call is a circular embrasure, okay. I don't know if I have a picture of that. Yeah, if you look at right over here, circular embrasure. If you look at it right here, okay, hold on a second. Let me just blow that up. Yeah, okay. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, good. So when you look at it right here, okay, I don't know if you can see it clearly. The embrasure is circular, okay, not longitudinal. It's almost like looking up the pyramid, like it's round, like a mountain, okay, so that when they're brushing, the bristle can curve around it, okay, yeah. More circular the embrasure is, it's easier for the electric toothbrush or manual toothbrush to get in. My goal, the best design of pontics and abutment is that with one single brush, if you can able to reach and from palatal and buccal or lingual, be able to reach around that embrasure, 90% of it. Okay, I think to me that's the goal, and that's the what makes the AMELIA design great. Okay, yeah. So let's go back to right there. Okay, so that's that. So that has become our probably main go-to design for all my FP3 or the new FP3s, but also the cases that I'm upgrading my older hybrid bar, because I used to do a ton of hybrid bar, right? Ton of them, and done a lot. And the reality is that all hybrid bridge teeth, they all chip or break or they crack, they wear it down, and after about 5 to 6 to 7 years, you need to upgrade it. How I used to upgrade it is just retrieve the bar, mill the PMMA, and just glue it and polish it, give it to the patient. And what I've noticed that is that after another 4 or 5 years, they wear down too. So what we've been doing, since about a year ago, me and Aaron, we've been doing is that when we're upgrading, we're giving them all porcelain-fused zirconia AMELIA design. And this is one of the example. The patient had top and bottom hybrid bar before, but what we've done is giving them the porcelain-fused zirconia, okay, porcelain-fused zirconia, the type of design, okay, for the upgrades, right? We don't charge a lot for upgrade, okay? We only charge, like $6,000 or something, not a lot. And when I send the lab bill is almost $4,000, right? Okay, so we only make $1,000, so that's nothing, right? Doesn't even cover the overhead. But for me, I feel good because I feel like I'm giving back to some of the quality of the work that I couldn't give them like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 15 years ago. So when we get a chance to redo this case upgrading, then we're able to give them what I believe is best in my clinic at current present time. So it's been very promising. We document all these cases, every 6 months to a year basis. So I can learn how my work is holding up, right? The reality of the full arch is that everybody's successful, first 4 to 5 to 6 years, right? You start to have a real learning after about 10 years when you start to look at your own failures, which I had a ton of, right? Humbling experience. So that's how I learned. So I hope that answers your question. So that is, in a nutshell, AMELIA design. It's like when you go to IKEA. When you go to IKEA, they have like a Billy, they got Tiffany and Lily and things like that, right? In our lab, we have AMELIA design. So AMELIA that's what it is. And the name of AMELIA comes from one of my patients' first name, AMELIA. And thank you, AMELIA, for putting me and my lab through a lot of challenging times to make it right, and teaching us that, yes, you can make it pretty thin without compromising the strength or complications. So we'll see. Okay, how long will this thin porcelain-fused zirconia wraparound bridges with this type of a design last? Only time will tell. As you know me, if something goes wrong, I'll post it, okay? And you'll get to learn with me as well, all right? Because we're only correct 20/20 in a hindsight, okay? So that's a wrap for the tonight's late night coffee show. Okay, it was a little rusty today because I haven't done a late night coffee show home studio for a long time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, shoot some heart if you enjoyed it. If you still want to do some late night coffee show with me in the future, because I want to do this, right? I want to get back in there and connect with you guys. And if you have certain topics that you want me to cover, like a mini lecture format, we'll love to do that as well. Okay, I'll leave this the video because of the glitch. A lot of you guys probably couldn't join. I'll leave it till tomorrow midnight and I'll take it down. Once again, thank you very much, guys. Okay, hope to see you guys in real person to person. It was so nice to see Albert giving a hands-on lecture at Bice Institute last Tuesday. It was a great honor to host him, and also get to meet local doctors. And we also had 4 doctors out of town, 2 from USA, all the way driving up from Seattle to Vancouver to see us. So I'm very, very grateful. You guys, it's a Saturday. Thanks for staying up. You guys have a wonderful Sunday, and take care. And once again, okay, thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye. How do I go now? Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Kwan, a full-time practicing implant dentist in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. It is a great honor to share the podium with other great minds at the 16th International MegaGen Symposium in New York City. The main theme of this symposium is Dentistry Wears Digital. Sounds great, but what does that really mean to me? Majority of my daily clinical work revolve around full arch reconstruction. Throughout the history of dentistry, once in a while, there comes a technological advancement that will innovate the way we think, plan, and execute. I call this a game changer. These include digital planning, guided surgery, CAD/CAM design, manufacturing, and much, much more. With these technological advancements, we can now plan and execute both stages of surgery and prosthetics to achieve the most biologically driven, minimally invasive full arch therapy. Welcome to my world of no bone reduction FP1, which I believe to be the next evolution in fixed full arch therapy. I look forward to seeing all of you at the New York Symposium. Take care. Bye-bye.